Alright, so I really messed up that insert, and we ended up coming in really early. So we're just going to touch down into the grasslands and test out our skid for the first time. Hopefully the gear will hold up, even though I have a bad feeling it's going to flex. And touch. It flexed. I mean, we survived. The Dream Chaser cargo system and the Dream Chaser space system are made by Sierra Nevada Corporation Space Systems, or SNC, and the country of origin is the United States of America. The range is low Earth orbit. The mass of the craft is 9,000 kilograms, or 19,800 pounds. The height is 9 meters, or 29.5 feet, and the span is 7 meters, or 22.9 feet. It is a reusable lifting body designed space plane. It has autonomous launch, flight, and landing systems built in. It would utilize a vertical launch system such as Atlas V, Vulcan Centaur, or Ariane 5. Similar to the space shuttle, it would also glide in and land on normal runways. The differences between the Dream Chaser cargo system and the Dream Chaser space system are: the cargo system, or CRS-2, would have folding wings, and that would allow it to fit within a fairing. This offers it more versatility between launch systems that it sits upon. The Shooting Star transport vehicle also can attach to the back of the spaceplane, increasing the carrying capacity. The systems together will allow 5,500 kilograms, or 12,125 pounds of cargo. The Shooting Star system will also be able to house the station waste, which will then be released, the entire Shooting Star system released during the deorbit burn, and that would allow it to burn up in the atmosphere, which is how it got the name the Shooting Star. For the space system, it would not have folding wings. It would actually have windows in the front, whereas the cargo system does not. And it would allow for 7 crew members, and it would have the internal capacity of 2,000 pounds of payload. Now, as of late 2019, they planned 6 Dream Chaser CRS-2 flights, the cargo system, via ULA's Vulcan launch system. And the first Dream Chaser flight also would be on a Vulcan, and it is planned for 2021. The craft is based on NASA's HL-20 PLS personal launch system. It is reminiscent of such venerable crafts like the X-20 Dinosaur. For propulsion, the Dream Chaser would utilize Orbit-Tech's Vortex engines using a mixture of propane and nitrous oxide as propellants. And it is said the Dream Chaser will deliver more than 12,000 pounds, or 5,450 kilograms of pressurized and unpressurized cargo to the space station, and remains attached for up to 75 days as an orbiting laboratory. Once the maiden mission is complete, the Dream Chaser disposes about 7,000 pounds, or 3,200 kilograms, of space station trash and returns large quantities of critical science accessible within minutes after a gentle runway landing. And I've been asked to see if I can build this beautiful bird in Kerbal Space Program, and so here we are. And let's take a look and see what we have been able to do here today. Alright, so here is our launch of our space system, the Dream Chaser space system, and hopefully this will go well. I have several wings kind of tucked into the bottom there to provide us a more visually similar design as the one that they had planned, and this allows it to work within Kerbal Space program quite well. Even though it is tucked away inside the chassis, I don't like to do that all the time, but it's okay. So first launch shows it's flying exceptionally well. I was quite surprised how well it was flying on top of the rocket, and it allows me to actually turn it and do a nice lean over instead of having to lean to the side like I do with some of my rockets. We just kind of lay it over once we get to 10,000, and this allows us to go forward, shoot forward with our orbit burn. And I was surprised because I actually am using very few systems on here to maintain its attitude, and it was able to handle it quite well. So I was quite thrilled about that initial lifting. It actually forces the lift to be almost dead center of that mass due to that angled fuel container that we have on the front there. And I have had a rough day today getting my orbits, and this was one of the best orbits I managed to do, which is quite sad. So I took it all back and we launched it again because that was a absolutely horrendous orbit. But this allowed me to actually feel out the craft a bit more. I was being really hesitant on my lean there, on my gravity turn, because I was worried that all the lift was going to cause it to flip. But as you can see here, going really aggressive on that launch, it was able to handle it with no problem. So therefore, I just went ahead and stayed aggressive on that turn, and we got a nice, good start on that gravity turn, and ended up getting a huge chunk of my periapsis out of the way. And I had just enough left to give me a little boost towards getting my periapsis up to at around 75, but I was going to try to match my apoapsis at the same time. Like I said, it was a long day. I was having a hard time for some reason, but this was one of the best orbits I had, and it was so, the inclination was so beautiful. So I was like, okay, we're just going to go for it and hopefully nail this landing. So a few things in retrospect that I did wrong. I just went ahead and aimed this in the general vicinity and said, okay, that'll be good. Let's disconnect our fuel and let's just use our fuel connected here and just go ahead and do our deorbit burn. Well, in retrospect, I should have used the fuel in that vessel or transferred some of it, because I found out later how terrible of an idea that was. So I started my deorbit burn, and from here things just went from bad to worse. It looks so fine right now. The test flights were beautiful. I had zero problem. This craft in my first initial test flights before I slapped it on top of a rocket, it was flying so beautifully, landing absolutely wonderful. It had no trouble, but what I didn't think of was the initial engines I had used were actually monoprop engines. So it wasn't using the LFO, and therefore it wasn't causing my craft to lose balance. Once you do that, you run into an issue and the craft wants to flip over. And so I found this out as I started to come into the atmosphere. So here we go. We're coming into the atmosphere, and things right now are just looking fantastic. Heat looks great. The aerodynamics is nothing's really affecting it too much. You can see that huge crater over there, and that's just beautiful. I love how it fills in. I just want to put a base there, but the land is not as flat as I would hope. But this is pretty nice. And what I was able to do, since I had some fuel left, I decided, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and do like little micro burns to make sure that I'm coming directly in on the station, on the KSC, which sounded like a great idea because I had so much fuel. But little did I know, I was actually going to almost sacrifice the entire mission just to have a nice pretty landing area instead of going to the desert base, which should have been my fallback. I should have just gone to the desert base. That would have been just perfect. And you know, here you go, the little micro burns. That was my downfall of this launch. And so what happened is, you'll see here, the craft starts to lose control. And let's fast forward a bit, and here you can see my emergency maneuvers because I had lost control at this point. So what I needed to do was get the weight to my nose as much as possible. All I had left was RCS. And unfortunately, when all you have left is RCS, it does not burn out very fast. So I tried my best. It wouldn't, at first I couldn't pump my RCS to the front, and I finally was able to get it to pump to the front, but still it's not enough weight. And so you see the craft is currently spinning out. So in my desperation, I had actually locked the front RCS. All my monoprop in the front was locked out, and then I proceeded to burn as much of my monoprop as I could from the two rear tanks while I maintained control using RCS, and then came for this emergency landing, which was a heart attack as it flipped over and then bounced off my engines, and we survived. That was a panic. So I wanted to try that again, because now that I know I need to pump it to the front, all I need to do is, just to correct this, we'll just pump it from our main tank here to the front, and then try this all again. Now that our lesson is learned. That was a very valuable lesson to learn, and I for certain was not going to make the same mistake again. So here we are, we're going back in. We have a lot better control this time around, and everything was looking really good. I think I only had to do like one emergency burn, but everything was going really, really well. And I was coming over the mountains, and so I decided, you know what, I'm gonna pop in camera. So I'm gonna stop talking over the video, and we're gonna jump back to well, the live version. Okay, a little panicked right now because this is a long way to fly, and have to do this over and over again. I would not be overly thrilled, but I think we may be able to do it this time. Oh, we're coming in shallow, aren't we? Yeah, we're coming in a bit shallow, so we have enough fuel to actually do a small boost towards the KSC, so I'm not overly concerned. But I don't want to have to do this too many times, for obvious reasons. Alright, looking good, looking good. Okay. Just doing a little test to see if I need to dump fuel to the front. Looks like it's pretty stable still. I'm still gonna push the fuel to the front. I'd rather be nose heavy. So this is the scary part, is the landing. I have not tested this landing gear out, so I don't know how well it's going to work. The last time I tested it, it literally went forward, bounced off the nose, and then landed. This is a pretty glidey craft, so I'm hoping that it will be able to glide its way in, but I am not fully sure. And let me turn this thing down to quiet because it's kind of beepy. Alright, so here we go, gliding our way in. I feel like I'm gonna need some extra boost on this. I do not have any air brakes, so that's a thing. The ground is coming at me really quickly. We're gonna have to start doing our flare a bit early and hope that it holds up. I do not know if these wheels, I have a landing gear for the front. Well, the landing gear are on the back and a landing leg on the front at an angle. That being said, I'm very concerned about that landing leg. I have a really good stall speed on this craft, so this I hope will allow me to go slow enough so that it's not going to be a big concern. I would not want to have to do this landing again. This is my final attempt. A third time's a charm, right? Oh my god. I have missed and landed successfully twice because overshooting, weight distribution issues, and now I am finally right at the proper angle, proper weight distribution, and hopefully we can nail this landing. Alright, lining it up, looking good. Gear is deployed. I'm gonna keep coming down so I have a really hard flare. Hit my brakes. Ooh. I need to come down. Oh my god! I did it! Oh my god! Oh. Oh. That's not a skid like I wanted, but that's a successful god dang landing. Yes! Oh, oh my god. Well, that was amazing. That was an amazing flight and landing, and I love this bird. This design here, let's give you a nice look at it. This one here just really won me over. It was suggested that I try this SNC Dream Chaser design and see how well I could get it to fly, and I managed to get it to fly, get it to orbit. Not a pretty orbit, because I'm struggling today with orbits for some reason, but I was able to take it to orbit, deorbit it, and land successfully. There you go, SNC Dream Chaser mission complete. Whew, that feels good. If you like what you see, and hit that like button, drop me in a comment, let me know what you think. And I guess I can post the craft out there if you guys want it. Just remember to distribute the fuel properly, because you have to pump it to the front. Keep the front as full as possible, because that way it's going to glide a lot better. And you don't have to use RCS to fly it in. I just did it for extra controls. But anyhow, I'm going to get out of here. That was a heart attack waiting to happen. And I will catch you guys in the next one. It's your boy Jatwan, I'm out. Peace. Oh my god, that landing was brutal.